Hey, my name is Michael Clement, and in this video I'm going to be walking you through how to learn the jazz standard There Will Never Be Another You from a lead sheet. So if this is your first time learning a song from a lead sheet, I'm going to be breaking down the process for you. And by the end of the video, you're going to have a simple solo piano arrangement that you can use to play this great jazz standard. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So a lot of times when we look at lead sheets, what we're looking at in terms of the melody is a very simplified form of the melody. And if you just look at the melody as it's written, we have a lot of quarter notes. And so it's just written like this. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Just pretty boring. Even if a singer sang this in a very old style arrangement, it still wouldn't be this straight. So we're usually going to add a lot more characters. So I'm going to add this rhythm that I have written here in green, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. Now, this rhythm is fairly involved, but the reason I'm using this a little bit more complicated rhythm is because we're going to use this rhythm quite a bit over the course of the arrangement. So if you need to pause the video and just get comfortable with that rhythm, one way I would do that is just take the rhythm and see if you can clap it along with counting it. Now you can even just start without the swing and just count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? And then once you're comfortable with that, then go ahead and you can clap it with swing or go ahead and start playing it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 3. And for the next line, we're going to do the same rhythm. So this is why we're doing a little bit more complicated rhythm, because then we can repeat it and it won't get boring. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then, and so we have the first two lines that we're going to do the same rhythm. And because this third line is a little bit different, we're going to be doing a little bit of a simpler rhythm. Let's just do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So this is a little bit simpler. I'm just going to do a dotted quarter here and then an eighth and then just all quarter notes there, dotted quarter, eighth, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm going to change that rhythm there at the end. So notice I did the same dotted quarter and then an eighth. And usually jazz musicians are not going to be writing down these variations, but just because it's your first time using a lead sheet, it's helpful just to plan out what you're going to play. And then if you learn 3 different variations, then you can start mixing and matching them. And you can have a lot easier time actually improvising the variations rather than just trying to come up with something on the fly. It's a lot easier to have a few different variations, and then on the fly you just pick from whatever variations you have come up with. So from the beginning, we have this rhythm on the first 2 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3. And then as we continue on, you're going to notice that the 5th and the 6th lines are the same as the first 2 lines. So it's just going to be the same thing. 4, 1 and 2 and 3. Let's see, make sure I do it the same as I did before. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Boom. And then same thing here. So this is a little bit different, so I will write it in. So we have dotted quarter, eighth, and then all quarters, and then dotted quarter, eighth. But here on the third measure of that seventh line, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And I actually think it works really well on the last line just to have all quarter notes, because we're going to have a lot of different chords changing, especially when we add the left hand. It's going to be easier just to keep it all straight, and because the chords are changing, it'll be interesting enough without the changed rhythms. That being said, I do want to do just this last rhythm. I just want to anticipate that last note. Okay, so that is the melody. So let's work on let's go forward to the chords, and here I'm going to switch to a different view here so you can see the chords. And now I failed to mention here at the beginning of the video that if this is your first lead sheet that you've learned ever, there will never be another. You might not be the easiest song that you could learn, so hopefully this is at least your second, third, maybe fifth lead sheet that you've learned. And the reason I say that is because there are actually a lot of different chords, and this song goes to a lot of different keys. We can see here from the key signature that we are in the key of E flat, right? But very quickly, even from the second chord, I'm going to switch to red here, even from the second chord, we're already headed to a new key very temporarily. So here we are or at least we are headed toward C minor, right? And I don't expect for you to know why that is, but I'm just showing you right now that this song has a lot of different keys in it, and so it would be helpful for you to become a lot more comfortable with these different keys, how to recognize chords that are within different keys. And I guess while I'm on that topic, before I actually show you all the chords in this song, if you are new to learning lead sheets and you do need some foundation so that you can find what chords are in which key and how to easily play jazz chords in any key, I would definitely recommend checking out my ebook, Anyone Can Play Jazz Chords. I walk you through a simple 5-step method that's going to help you go from being able to just like play an E flat major scale, I guess in this case for There Will Be Another You, to being able to play all of the main jazz chords in the key of E flat major. And I actually walk you through a process for learning any jazz standard from a lead sheet. So anyway, I'm going to go on to the rest of the video, but if you want some extra help getting a process down so that you can learn these on your own rather than just from a tutorial from like this, definitely recommend checking out that link in the description for my course, Anyone Can Play Jazz Chords. Okay, so going on to this, I just wanted to say that there are a lot of keys in this. So if this is your first time, it may be helpful to visualize the keys and not just the individual chords. So here we start at the beginning. We're in E flat. We have a 2-5-1 to C minor. And again, if you don't know what a 2-5-1 is right now, that's okay. I do cover that in the free course and ebook. But and then we have a 2-5-1 that goes to A flat, and then we head back to E flat, and then for the rest of this part, we're mostly in E flat with a little bit of an oddball chord. Okay, so I'm just going to play through each one of these chords. We have E flat major 7, and for all of these tutorials, typically what we're doing is we're playing either a root position chord in the left hand, or we're doing a second inversion chord, meaning that the 5th is on the bottom of the chord. So for this one, just because the melody starts pretty low, we're going to practice these lower versions, and just whenever we need to have a chord that's a little bit lower. So we're going to start off with this E flat major 7 in second inversion with the 5th on bottom, and then we're going to come up to this D half diminished. That's D, F, A flat, and C, right? And then we're going to voice lead to our G7 flat 9. Now we're actually going to ignore the flat 9 for this video, because it's something that we can add later, and we don't necessarily need it for it to be a 5 chord and a 2-5-1. Okay, and then we're going to go on to our C minor 7. All right, that's C, E flat, G, and B flat. And let's see, for this one, I am going to go up to a second inversion, B flat minor 7, and then to an E flat 7, and then I'm going to my A flat major 7. So just because there are a lot of chords in this one, I am going a little bit faster, but for each chord, just remember that I am using either the first inversion, or I'm using either the root position chord, which has the root on bottom, or I'm doing the fifth. I would recommend practicing both positions so that you'll have a lot of flexibility when you add the melody, and just so our right hand doesn't get in the middle of our melody. So as I'm learning these chords, I'm thinking, where's my melody? Do I need to use a root position? Or do I need to use a second inversion, or do I have some options? And here, because the melody is so high, we have a melody that's all the way up on the C. We have some options. We can do root position down here. We can do second inversion here. We could even do root position up here, right? But I like this mid-range second inversion, B flat minor 7, going to the E flat 7, right? And then we have our E flat major 7. Okay, and now let's go to our root position half diminished, or F minor 7 flat 5. You'll see me alternate between two different words for this type of chord. Sometimes on lead sheets they'll say F minor 7 flat 5, and then other times they'll use a diminished symbol with a line through, which means half diminished. They both mean the same thing, and you don't need to worry yourself about why people use one over the other. But they are the same chord. So we have F minor 7 flat 5, and then we have B flat 7, F, A flat, B flat, and D. And then we have E flat major 7, right? We're going to go down to our C minor 7, and then F7 in second inversion. Again, this has the A natural on top. And then this one has some chords in parentheses. You could just play this F7 for the entire two measures, and that's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep it nice and simple. And then go to our F minor 7 here in second inversion, and then B flat 7 here. And then we find ourselves right back where we started, with a very low melody, right? And so we're going to use that second inversion for the E flat major 7. And then we're going to go back up to our D half diminished. This is all the same. Once again, we're going to skip the flat 9. We don't need it for right now. Interesting. This is a mistake in the lead sheet. I've never heard B flat minor 7 being played here. So I don't know why that's there. Even it has the repeat mark, which usually we play a C minor 7 for an extra bar here. So we're going to do that. Right. And at this point, I like to go up. So by the time you get to your B flat minor 7, I like being up here on this second inversion, 7th chord, and then our E flat 7 in root position, and then we're going back to the E flat major 7. And we're going to go up to our root position for the F minor 7 flat 5, to the B flat 7 in second inversion, and then E flat major 7. And you know, this next little sequence is probably the trickiest part of the tune. Even, you know, after all these years of playing this tune, this is always the part where I have to I always have to run through a little bit, specifically to solo over. But the chords are just moving very quickly, and so we're going to do. So I'm going to go through that. I just wanted to make sure I picked a good position for you guys. So I'm going to do root position here. And then I'm going to do second inversion for the C7. And this is a little bit of an awkward change from the C7 to the E flat major 7, but I still think that's what we're going to go with. So we're going to do root position for the E flat major 7. We're going to do root for the D7. And then this one, I don't like this chord change that's here. And I'm going to show you why. If I play a G7 and I have this B flat and this E flat, it really clashes hard. And so I think that this is the chord change that people are using for the solos. So we're going to change this to a G minor 7 flat 5. I'm not exactly sure what is on the original recording. It could be that could just go down to a D flat 7. But I like the G minor 7 flat 5. So that one's going to have a D flat, an F, a G, and then a B flat here. So that one's not in the lead sheet, and so we're going to go with the G minor 7 flat 5. It sounds really nice. And then C7, F minor 7, B flat 7, and then E flat. And if you just see E flat without any 7 or anything like that, you could just play a triad, but a lot of times, at least in the swing era, we're going to add this 6th. Okay? So here's what we have so far, and then our next step is to add this with the melody. So just to start off, we're going to play with our right hand melody, just playing our left hand chord on the downbeat. This may take a little bit of practice breaking it down, making sure that you spend time putting the hands together. I'd recommend doing one line at a time, maybe, and then do 2 lines at a time, and so on. But let's go on, and we're going to put our hands together now. All on the downbeats. Now don't get confused by this C minor. I was just saying what key it's in, and that it belongs to the line above. So one thing I want to make sure that you're aware of is that our melody does not have a note right on that downbeat. So when you play that second measure of the pattern for the first and the second lines, your left hand is going to happen on that rest. So I'm going to play that one more time for you. Right? So nice and slow. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So if that is hard for you, just make sure to spend a little bit of time getting that coordination together. I'm going to continue on to the third line. So offbeat. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Going up to the second position. so that is our hands together version. Again, make sure to take your time. If you need to practice that with just one line at a time to get really comfortable, you can do that. But this isn't quite a solo piano arrangement yet. This is a little bit closer to what you would play with a bass player and a drummer. We need to have a little bit more of our own rhythmic engine to turn this into a solo piano arrangement. So we're going to do this in 2 steps. So if it's all right, I'm just going to get rid of all of our annotations here. Make sure to refer back to earlier parts in the video if you need to really solidify that. But what we're going to do is, for the left hand, we're going to practice doing a rhythm that is called the Charleston. So like I said, we're going to do this in 2 steps. First one, we're going to keep the chords nice and tight right here. And then the second thing, I'm going to introduce you to what is called a shuttle left hand, or a shuttle bass left hand. So, but first we're just going to learn this rhythm. So we have this rhythm that's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Right? So that is a Charleston rhythm. It's 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Very common rhythm in jazz. And I want you to get comfortable with that. And anywhere where we have the chord going for the entire measure, we can do that Charleston rhythm. And then anywhere where it's just a little bit too hard for you right now, or if there are 2 chords per measure, we're just going to go back to our whole notes and half notes, okay? So here's what that would sound like. May take a little bit to get comfortable with. That's okay. Sometimes I find that it's helpful to kind of write in how the left hand is going to fit in with the right hand. Here I think that would be really helpful. So we have, in the left hand, we have the Charleston, and then on the right hand, remember, we have this rest right here. So we have the right hand happening on the and of 1 and then on beat 3. So let's see, make sure I have the right chord. Right, so that's one that may take a little bit of practice, and that is all right. So again, that visual part of writing in the rhythms as you want to play them in the right hand and the left hand, and then practicing them, it's a very helpful thing to do, so you can practice that hand independence, so you can work on that coordination. Okay, so going on to the next part. Actually, that one, since I said we were going to do just half notes whenever we have 2 chords per bar, we'll go ahead and do that. So there were a lot of little different chord modifications that we made earlier in the video that obviously got erased when I went to this. So the G minor 7 flat 5, this mistake here with the B flat minor 7, adding the E flat major 6, not playing this 2-5 right here because we don't need it. And then getting rid of the flat 9s here. I think that's all it was. So there we have our Charleston, our left hand, and now we can complete this with a solo piano technique, which is where we're going to go back and forth between a bass and our voicing. Now this requires a little bit of jumping, but you can even do it as close as you want to. right? And then when you get to 2 chords in a bar, just play the chords. Right, so from the beginning, this is once again called a shuttle bass. And then you can just end with a full chord. Once again, I'm doing the melody on top, and then I can do something like this with root, 5th, 6th, and 3rd. If you also want to just end with a nice closed position, meaning everything is close together, just E flat major 6 in the left hand, that works well as well. So once again, I hope this was a good just starting point for this song, There Will Never Be Another You. We walked through how to phrase and how to modify the lead sheet for the melody, how to learn the chords, and how to visualize the different keys that those chords are in throughout the song, how to position them so that you can easily learn them and voice lead them through the song, how to put them together, how to do some different rhythms on the left hand, and finally, how to put it all together with a very characteristic solo piano technique called shuttle bass and chords. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, if you want to go that next step and learn how to learn, I know that's a little meta, learning how to learn. If you can, I want to get you a 5-step process so that you can actually learn these songs on your own, learning the chords, recognizing which chords are in which key, and being able to very quickly recognize and play those. If you want to do that, go ahead and go to the link in the description and check out my free jazz chord course called Anyone Can Play Jazz Chords. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, I have a whole series of these jazz standard walkthroughs. Of course, I want you to be able to learn these on your own, but in each of these videos, I introduce something new, a different solo piano technique or a different rhythm that's characteristic to that particular song that you can check out. So definitely check out the playlist here so that you can see all of those tunes. Make sure you're learning the tunes that you want and you're having a fun time learning jazz piano. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.